Hello, I am Wes Otis. I am here with some amazing players for our Delta Green Operation Ice Pick game. I would like them to introduce themselves before we jump into this episode 0, where we will figure out what agents we will be looking at later. Let us start with Chrissy.
Hi. I'm Chrissy and Keller in the online spaces, and I am very excited to play this game. Freaking love Delta.
And we have a newbie with us as well. I think Janine's a newbie too with Delta Green. Excellent. 2 newbies. I love that. Let's start with Candace.
Hi, Candace the Magnificent. You can find me on the internet at that Candace girl at Candace Magnificent. I'm freaked out.
I know we haven't even started. I mean, that's I'm done. Janine.
Hello, I'm Janine, she, her, also known as Blips and Chits on the internet. And by the internet, I mean Twitter. I have been wanting to play Delta Green for a very long time. I have listened to a lot of Delta Green actual plays. I think I know how we're gonna die. I might guess.
Clairvoyant.
Can't wait. I'm so excited.
Michelle.
Hey, I'm Michelle, and my Twitter handle is Mashulu, so you can tell that I know nothing about the mythos of Lovecraft, and I'm not a fan. Not with a name like Mashulu. But I'm looking forward to this, and I have been in Delta Green games, and boy howdy. We're in for a treat. It's gonna be fun.
So let's talk about Delta Green for a few minutes before we jump into the whole character creation thing. For those of you who are new, this is our 0 session. We're going to be creating our agents. We're going to be talking about the world. I'm going to talk with the players about what they expect, what they would like. I've already kind of gone over the things they don't like. And we might hit on those a little bit so that you, the audience, can see what a 0 session's all about, so that you can play safe as you're going along. One big thing to remember is with my Call of Cthulhu games and with Delta Green, I don't actually use the sanity rules that are presented. I'm not a big fan of them. I've written what's called resolve checks, which are based on fight, flight, flee, or fawn, the basic fear responses, as opposed to getting some horrible phobia. If a player wants to take on a phobia and is like, hey, I'm feeling this, or if a player's like, look, I think I need to do a resolve check, that is awesome. And they can definitely do that. That's their call. Those things definitely are cool to do. Delta Green started like in the 1990s, the actual game, and it's basically a mix of the X-Files and Call of Cthulhu, but it's done incredibly well. It's this conspiracy layered thing where Delta Green is trying to protect the United States citizens from the supernatural, as well as searching out and kind of getting rid of threats as they can. And there are a lot of threats that they just simply won't go away because they're way too powerful. So that's the overall feel to it. There's also a sense of corruption. There's a lot of agencies that start off with good intentions and end up corrupted. Delta Green themselves had a really bad mission in the 1970s where they went into Cambodia and everything went sideways and a lot of people died, and they were basically broken up. The president took away their charter and their mandate, and they were kind of outlaws until the early 2000s, the early aughts, and then they started up the program again. So there's definitely a long, rich history, but as agents, you're not going to be privy to a lot of it. A lot of it is about keeping everybody compartmentalized, where you might know each other's first names, you might not. You go by your agent's name. That way, if one of you does break down and can't continue to move on and basically loses their faculties or whatever, the spread will be short because you'll only be infecting a few other people, and that's less than a clip to take care of for a cleaning crew, so that's all good. So let's talk about the safety issues that we were, the blinds and veils and all of that good stuff. We have our basic standard things that we follow on 12-Side Stories, which is no racism, no sexism, no sexual abuse of any kind. Basically, we avoid those things, and then we also mix in whatever individual fears or triggers might affect people. We do avoid animals being hurt. We avoid children being hurt. Now, vampire child, someone that's already a vampire, that's a different thing, or a demon or whatever. They're evil straight off, but I'm not going to spend 5 episodes getting you really endearing you to Timmy and then killing him. That's not what we're going to be doing. The players have said what their triggers are for certain things. I'm not really going to go over those. I have a list of them, but those are people's personal fears, and I don't think we really need to talk about those necessarily. If they come up during the game and the players decide to say, hey, this is something I don't like, we have an X card, which means that if anybody says, hey, we need to move away from this subject, we automatically will move away from it, and then off screen we'll talk about it if they want or not. I mean, an X card is an X card. If there's something you don't like, it's completely cool to be like, I don't like this and I don't want to
I'm throwing homophobia into the
oh yeah,
to the
homophobia.
pile.
I'm sorry. I should have mentioned that, and also transphobia, which I know is in the same sphere for some people, but I think that you should mention it as well. I'm sorry for forgetting that. Those are very important as well. So there's so much to go over. That is the very basics of our safety things here. Basically, we want to have fun. We don't want to have anybody caught off guard by what we're doing. That being in mind, when we do actually start running the game, Delta Green can be very intense. There can be a lot of tension. Things can go wrong for players and for NPCs. Sometimes suicide is part of a storyline or a story arc. If that is something that bothers you or that is a big trigger for you, we will of course have warnings in all the games, and we'll have warnings in chat through a bot and all that. But we just wanted to let people know that a NPC that's pushed to the edge, or even a player if they decide for story reasons, that is a possibility. Now, I've not written anything that says that anything will happen like that, but I feel like you all should know in chat so that you're aware. So now that I've given that long spiel, besides those 2 big oversights, is there anything else I've forgotten about? I think I covered everything pretty well. Awesome. Okay. So Timmy's trapped in the Well of Souls. Yes, Buford, that's what. Poor Timmy. All right, so we are going to be making characters, agents. Now, there are 2 Delta Greens. There are the Outlaws, who are basically still illegal, that don't have any sanctions from the United States, don't get money or funding, but they like it that way because they can work outside the law without worrying about being looked over their shoulder. And then there's the program, which has tons of money and is sanctioned and all that good stuff. I'm not going to tell you which one you're going to be a part of. But those are 2 very big possibilities. You can pick whether or not you're going to be from an agency like the FBI or the CIA. There are tons of food. You can even be part of the CDC if you're a medical professional or something like that. There are literally tons of different agencies, and it doesn't even have to be federal. You could be a police detective if you really want. You don't have to be part of an agency at all. You could be, we had a Delta Green where one of our players was a thief, and she was caught and thrown in jail, and Delta Green basically said, wow, she's got great skills. We would like her in the organization. And so they recruited her. So you don't have to be part of any particular thing if you don't want to. Let's see here. So in the character book, just so you know, this is for reference for later. And you can be part of the army, you can be drug enforcement, you can be, all that stuff. Let's see, where is it? Federal agencies. In the main handler's book, federal agencies start on page 108. So if you want to glance at what the different agencies are, you can, but like I said, you can pick that later down the road as well. So start kind of putting that in the back of your mind. Do you want to be part of a particular agency, or do you want to be outside, as like a computer analyst that just maybe does some government work or something along those lines? Okay, let's see here. So if you go to the cheat sheet that I gave you, the Delta Green cheat sheet, page 3, the first thing that we're going to start with is statistics. There are 3 ways to do this. I am going to say that we're going to pick an array. The reason why is it's going to be way faster for everybody. You'll notice that it says there are 3 sets of numbers: stat 1, stat 2, stat 3, blah, blah, blah. The first one's kind of a all around situation. You have decent average things in everything. It's the 13, 13, 12, 12, 11, 11. The next is kind of a more focused, which gives you the ability to kind of hone in on something a little bit more. And then the third is super focused. Okay. So I guess let's go around. Does anyone, why everybody's looking at those stat numbers? You pick one of those 3 and you can place the stats any way you want. So if you want like a high strength and you want to be focused, you pick the 3rd column and you start with 17 and you put it in strength. And then you go down the list and put everything in the place that you want it to be in. Okay. So let's go around real quick and see if anybody has any general ideas of what kind of character they would like to run. Chrissy, is that smile of a oh shit, or I've got an idea?
Oh, I've had an idea.
Okay, great. You go first then.
It was a character that I played in a one shot, and if nobody else wants to do this particular thing, it's one I would love to recreate. Because I loved her. I would love to get to. And she's very computer scientist, very Garcia from Criminal Minds.
Okay.
So only a little ruder. But yeah. And her stat blocks, she was a pre-gen character that somebody else did that they used this cheat sheet for. So her stat blocks were specifically the 3rd one.
Yeah, the super focused.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. If somebody else wants to be a computer scientist, I've got other ideas. That was just I liked her personality a lot, which I could put it on anybody, but
okay. Janine?
Ace pilot.
Okay. Are you thinking
I am going to play the douchiest of douchebags. I cannot wait to kill this character. So if you didn't notice, I'm here to be eaten by an alien daddy.
aren't we all?
Oh,
There's
Lord.
an Ice Planet Barbarians book about that.
Like, I love the idea of, my Delta Green character surviving, but also I think it's more, I don't know.
It's not if you survive or die, it's how fun your death is, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's the way I would look at it. Like, if you crossing the street and get hit by a car, that's boring, but getting ripped apart by something terrible at the very end and realizing that you've lost everything, including, all of the city you're from. That's where the fun really comes in. So
Tragedy, of course.
for these two characters, though, since you're going to be top douche, are you going to be
Tom Cruise?
Are you going to be part of the Air Force or the Navy or the Marines as a pilot, or what was your thought on that?
As a child of an almost entirely Navy family, I think that I want to be Air Force, and I'm not going to correlate the two.
Okay.
I'm just gonna leave it at that. And
That's
anyone else
perfectly
grew
fine.
up in a Navy household, you know how they feel. Air Force pilots.
Yeah, well,
as
I
opposed
think
to
isn't there
naval
like
pilots?
there's always friction between all the different. Well, you're a Marine, you're a this, you're a that. It's like, there's always that weird tension.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So what was I gonna say? Shit, I forgot. Hopefully I'll remember. And Chrissy, what about you for your idea of, are you part of the government apparatus? And the reason that this is important, though, this is one thing. Does your agency give you the power to arrest? So, Navy, no power to arrest, or Air Force, no power to arrest. Yeah, you can fly a plane and all that good stuff, but if you take somebody and detain them, that's an illegal move.
Citizens arrest.
Yeah, exactly. Delta Green works outside the law all the time. That's fine, but it's something to think about.
They'll just end up back out on the streets. In the skies, waiting to be shot down. Okay, anyway. By me, Ace Pilot.
Ace Pilot.
Sorry.
Your parents were so sure that you were going to be a pilot that they named you Ace Pilot. Now for the chat, just so you know, it is not going to be like the blood we spill. So though we're laughing now, it's going to be a little bit more serious when we get into the actual game. Thoughts, Chrissy, on any particular branch of the government, or no?
I actually don't think that she works for the government. I originally had her set that she works at a university, and the reason that she got on the government's radar is going onto websites or like hacking through things that she shouldn't, being in places that she shouldn't online, and that she shouldn't have been able to get into. Please don't interrupt me. Furry dudes, am I right? But yeah.
They want a lot of attention.
If that's a possibility, if it doesn't, again, this is just a character that I'm playing mostly because I like the personality. I can warp anything to what helps tell the story better for what you want to do. So
okay, so far I don't see a problem with any of it. What about you, Michelle? Any thoughts?
I'm thinking like ex-FBI who saw something they shouldn't have, took early retirement, and now is a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist.
Okay.
something to that, in that vein.
All right. So you're a civilian, though.
I'm a civilian, but I took early retirement because whatever I saw was just so bad.
Now,
or so out there.
How old would your character be, do you think?
I'm going to say probably late 40s if they're taking early retirement, but because they joined the Bureau like straight out of college.
Okay, cool. That works. Candace, what about you?
So I was thinking about being like a postal worker a postal worker conspiracy theorist, somebody who like assumes the strange and unusual is around every corner. But I really like Michelle's like old man Mulder.
Sounds like an old country
old
song.
Man Mulder.
Old man Mulder. Anyway.
So I feel like I'm down to be the Scully.
Okay.
Like I'm down to be like the doubting Thomas that's just like, clearly it's a lightning storm. I don't see any kind of dancing UFO lights anywhere.
Right.
What are you looking at type of thing.
What was the name of the X-Files conspiracy group? I forgot.
Bowman put it in the chat. Lone Gunman.
The Lone
Yes.
Gunman. Yeah. Okay, cool. And they actually have a couple they have a couple of different groups in Delta Green that have that kind of feel. Like I think they have a UFO sighting group and all that. A Saucer Watch, I believe it is. All right. So let's start off with our stats then, now that we have kind of an idea. Go ahead and pick one of the sets of stats and then figure out which place you would like to put them. Let me look at my character sheet here so I can kind of go along with you all. So there's strength, constitution, dexterity, intelligence, power, and charisma. Your power is going to be how much in the game sanity you have, but what we're using is resolve that you. So your power will equal your resolve. Higher, the more resolve you have, the more mental fortitude you have to deal with these horrible things that are coming after you. Now, there are a couple of things from the sanity rules that we are going to use for this particular game, which are violence, helplessness. You can get check marks for those if you do something really violent or you see something really violent and you check mark it off. It can lead to some interesting things. It can definitely mess with your mind a little bit. So those are things we will be using. We'll also be using willpower. Willpower allows you to get back some of your resolve. So you can spend up to 6 points of willpower to negate some of the horrible things that you see. But once you hit 0, you are unconscious until you wake up later, and you regain 6 points for every time you go to sleep. So up to 6. Obviously, never make power your dump stat. But go ahead and pick where you want each of your statistics to be, and let me know when you're all done. Chrissy's already done. Chrissy's one of those students. God, get rid of the bell curve.
I didn't realize I was muted. I mean, I've had this character sheet made unless something
it's totally
looks
cool.
wrong. Like unless like you see something be like, nah, I don't like that, then I'm just gonna go with, because I wasn't able to use her very much. It was more story driven. We didn't roll a lot, but I just, again, I hope everyone's okay. If like she's not mean or cruel, she's just like me in the sense she doesn't have a filter, only it's rude instead of just vulgar. Is that gonna offend anybody or like hurt anybody's feelings?
Fuck no.
Just Kurt.
Kurt, yeah.
Love it.
I think I'm going to be playing a man. So
All right.
definitely whatever. Be mean to him. It's fine.
Yes.
All right. So you'll notice next to each of the stats, you put down the main score. So like I said, wherever you put your, let's say you put 13 into your constitution, then what you want to do that is times that by 5 and put that number next to it. And that's going to be your percentage point. So if you have 10 something, it's going to be a 50. And that means that you have a 50-50 chance of being able to hit that attribute skill if an attribute skill is what we need. By the way, thank you to the list of people who have followed us so far. We appreciate it a lot. Thank you so much.
So happy to have you.
Yep, absolutely. Sleeplessness. I get that without seeing a horrible.
That's what happens when you get old.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm relishing in my ability to calm my mind and pass out. I'm like, just to relax each individual. I fear the day that goes away. Because there have been nights where I'm just like, this isn't working. What's this like forever? What if this happens to me forever? And then I pass out after I cycle through that for a little bit.
Yeah.
There was a kid
Sounds
in
familiar.
like
Yeah.
11th grade who, like, you know, people were like, oh, I'm an insomniac, like, but they're really just like late sleepers. They're night owls. My guy was up for like 4 days straight and could not come to school for like 2 weeks after.
Jesus.
Because, yeah.
That's a condition that needs a
Yeah,
doctor right away.
Uh-huh.
How are we all doing with our stats?
Good.
Done.
Done.
Everyone done?
Yeah.
I'm anxious about
Excellent.
it, but you know.
Oh, okay. That's another thing. They're set. You're screwed. No. If between now and Monday you decide you want to switch something around, that's fine. You can, if you want to tweak stuff and you're like, oh, I should have done this instead of that. This is a fillable PDF, not a stone tablet. So the next thing is the secondary stuff. And if you look on your cheat sheet, it tells you how to do your hit points and your willpower. So you have and just so you know, when it says power, it means the lower number, not the percentage points. So you don't have like 80 points of power or whatever. It would be 17. And then for your sanity or resolve points, it would be power times 5. And your breaking point is your power minus your resolve. Okay? So do each of those things.
Do some math here.
Math. Nothing better than math. Well, that's not true. There's lots of things better than math. Cookies.
Am I rounding down on this?
Yes.
Boo.
It's a horror game. Round down.
Soft.
Bwahaha.
Okie dokie.
I've actually been really excited because like we had so much fun with the blood we spill, and I'm like, we have a month off. Oh God, I want to play now. I'm ready to go.
You know, let's get right back into it with some PC murder.
PC murder.
Sounds like a store in a strip mall. Like a spot in a strip mall. Uh-oh, why are you doing this to me? This box isn't fillable.
Uh-oh. Which
Which
box?
one? Breaking point?
Yeah,
We don't use it anyway.
It's okay.
usually.
Breaking point, don't worry about it.
because we'll die first.
Yeah. So for chat, just to explain this, because I don't think I did, or I might have and I've forgotten. So now, because as Janine points out, because I'm old, I'm going to repeat myself. Basically, I use resolve rules. These are rules I came up with that use the fight, flight, and flee fear
Fight, flight, freeze, and fawn.
freeze and fawn instead of the sanity rules, because I don't really like using actual real world mental conditions for a tabletop RPG game. So like people won't, unless a player really is like, look, I want to play this particular phobia or whatever, that's up to them. You'll see the rules in action as we're kind of going along. But it's just something that always kind of bugged me. So I made the switch. So is everybody done with all of that math? Yay. Okay. So professions and skills. Dun, dun, dun. So you choose your profession. You go on the main Delta Green, the book, the agent's book. You can find detailed professions starting on, I believe it's page 22 of the PDF. And they have things like, anthropologist, historian, computer scientist, federal agent, physician, special operations. There's pilot and sailor for Janine is going to be on like 27. So
This is of the main handbook.
Yeah, this is in the main handbook. And it gives you, what it does is you'll notice it gives you all of your professional skills that you'll pick, and you'll put those percentages in. And then you choose two from, it'll give you the option to choose one or two. And then it'll tell you how many bonds you get. And we'll get into bonds next. It's basically family members that you can crap on to make yourself feel better.
Yay!
And as those get stretched out, you might lose a family member to being a jerk. But we'll get to that in a moment. And I'm trying to remember, chat, maybe if one of you knows this, because I remember looking it up and I can't. So in the original Call of Cthulhu, you'll notice under your skills on the character sheet that there are already like navigate 10%. In regular Call of Cthulhu, you got to add that 10% onto whatever points you were adding in. I think with Delta Green, you don't. I think that whatever the number is you get, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the way it is. So whatever number is there, that overwrites the number that's on the character sheet.
Okay.
Okay. Otherwise, there are some things, because these are trained professionals, where you'd have like a 90 or whatever, and it would be kind of ridiculous. Yeah, Bowman, I'm pretty sure that's the way it is too. I remember it correctly. Whew.
Just in case for all of the people wondering out there, yes, I made charisma my dump stat.
So wait a minute. Chrissy's playing someone who's Kurt. You're
So,
playing a
here's the-
douche. Are you just going to make it so easy? Like, is there going to be anybody likable in this group?
No, that's
I can be nice.
I have a 12 charisma.
my charisma for this character is 17. She's rude, but she's likable about it. Again, Garcia from Criminal Minds. Like, how do you not
Okay.
like Garcia? She's very blunt, but she's lovable because she's funny. That's the goal I'm going for.
All right. Good. I
Hey, I have drive.
Ooh. Yeah, you do.
You don't know how many games. It's like, who's behind the wheel? I am. Okay, make a drive roll. Fuck.
I usually try and put some drive into my characters because, you know, some
You
of your
drive a
characters
lot.
are a true reflection of yourself. And I like to think that in another life I was a NASCAR driver. So why not make my other life
You know
a
what?
NASCAR driver?
If the multiple reality universe thing is real, in another life we're all NASCAR drivers. Somewhere.
So true, bestie.
Let's see. Oh, and then once you're done, once you're done putting in your skills, your starting skills, and you've noted your bonds, the next thing to do is to choose 8 of any skill you want, except unnatural, and add 20% to the current base of it. So if that's where that base comes in. So if it says navigate 10% and you want to put 20% into it, it then becomes 30. Okay. These are your background skills or hobby skills or whatever. I believe, let's see, choose 8 skills and current. If a skill is not in your profession, you can increase it twice. So if you want to go ahead, Candace.
So just to be clear,
Okay.
the character sheet says alertness in parentheses 20%. That means I have a 20% in alertness,
Correct.
like we all do.
You
And
all
then
do.
when I add to it, I can add to that 20%.
Correct. So
Yeah.
that would be if you decide, hey, I want to put 20 more percent and use one of your 8 20% to put into it, you can. Or you can stack a second one on there. You can put 40% and have a 60, but that uses up 2 of your individual 20% slots. Does that make sense?
8 skills and how many 20% slots?
8 20% squats.
8 20%
squats.
Okay.
All right, guys, I have to go work out. It's leg day.
And then
no.
in places where it already says the amount, when you have that as part of your job, you just use the one that's part of your job. You don't add it
Correct.
to the thing that it says.
Correct. Right.
Just making sure
The
I'm on the
job-
same page.
The job overwrites.
Okay.
Can you add the 20% to something you have from your job? Like if
Yes, but only
Okay.
once.
okay.
So you can't double up on it like you can double up on other things. LARP
Hmm.
40%. That'd be funny if that actually came in handy. I roll LARP.
Another thing that I'm having a problem with is it like has several different crafts, right? But there's only one slot for crafts and it won't let me like do multiple.
It won't let you add in all the different crafts.
Yeah.
Let me
Because
see.
the computer
Oh,
side-
I just put them with like a slash between and then did a
Okay.
slash between the numbers. It was
Or
being funky.
you could also put them under foreign languages and other skills, or
Oh, yeah.
do they have that?
Mhm.
You could do that.
Yeah.
Other skills, you could put just a list of the things that you want for your craft and just note it there. Underwater basket weaving, first place winner in the tournament.
We have to. It says professional. Do I have to take all of?
Yeah, that's it's a I mean, you know what? No, you can trade something out if you really want to just make sure it's the equal amount of points. So if you want to customize, then yeah, you can customize.
Choosing.
Just laughing at chat. All right, Michelle, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Sorry, I was just concentrating so much I forgot to
I
talk.
feel like there's so much math here.
Um,
Did I retweet this?
yeah, I think I know, like, or what kind of experience brought you to Delta Green. I know what I'm doing. So.
Yeah, we're going to be going over all of that. We're definitely going to be going over what experience brought you to Delta Green. Hit upon it as it. Oh, so, how's everybody doing?
I'm done.
Okay.
I
So
think.
I should
hope.
explain what unnatural is. Don't put any points into unnatural. Okay. The reason why is as you learn horrible things. So if you have like a 40 resolve, right? And you read a horrible book, that book might give you 20 points in unnatural, the skill, and it then lowers your resolve by 20 points. So the more unnatural skill you have, the less your max resolve can be. So in this particular case, learning is not fundamental. Knowledge is not golden. Sometimes it can be quite bad.
Curse.
A curse, yes. Run, book.
Oh no.
Run
That's
away.
bad for me.
Yeah. So I was talking with the potential cast member for an upcoming show, and they were about our Blades of Eversync thing. They do it in November, and they were asking me. They're like, "Oh, I've never played it before. Is it like D&D?" I'm like, "Not even close. It's a D6, and that's all you use. So much easier. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine." So we'll see if they join us, but yeah. I love all these different systems, though, because it really broadens your horizon.
Agree.
Okay, so when everybody feels like they're ready, let me know, and we will move on.
I think I'm good.
All right. Michelle, how are you?
I'm doing good.
You ready to move on?
I think I'm ready.
We're using sanity points as resolve points instead, you said?
Yes, correct. So we're just switching out the name. That's
Awesome.
it.
All right.
I know there's probably purists out there like, "Holy, what are you doing?" Fuck
I
it.
do what I want.
I do what I want. Chrissy, are you good, or are you still...
Yeah, I'll double check. Yeah, sorry, I thought I was muted. I'll double check all of this and make sure my math's right. Because whoever did this particular character sheet, like I said, it was pre-gen. Had some
Interesting math?
Yeah. Well, and then like it said that my science mathematics was 70, and that doesn't make sense. So yeah.
No, like I said,
just fixing that.
If anything, you all can always come back and change stuff between now and Monday. And then when Monday comes around and you get eaten, then we can just start again. All right. So we've done all that. Now let's talk about bonds. You'll notice that you wrote down that you had bonds, depending on what your occupation was. You might have 3, you might have 4 or less, depending on what you're doing. On the cheat sheet, it gives you a list of examples. So spouse, ex-spouse, son, daughter, favorite parent, grandparent, best friend, blah, blah, blah. These are relationships that you have that you can rely on or use to help get back resolve. But that also causes tension because, when you're really good friends with someone and they're going through a really hard time, they were almost eaten by a tentacle creature and they're really laying it on thick, it can hurt the relationship. We all know how it goes. So definitely not Barry Bonds Buford T. Anyway, take a look at... Okay, that one wins. I give that one, I think I lost some resolve on that one. So check out the list and get an idea. Now, these are going to be, you can't just write down. I mean, you can now, but during the week, think up names and some kind of relationship. It doesn't need to be long. It can literally be a couple sentences because I'm a lazy GM and I like to steal NPCs from my players whenever I can. So, do that for me and I will be appreciative. So, yeah. Pick out your people, think about who they are, what their personality is, what your Are they a mom? Are they a relationship? If you're being chased by zombies, will you leave them behind in a car to be turned? Anything
Are
like
you
that.
prepared to role play another caricature of a different one of my exes?
Absolutely. I role play everyone. I played in Otherworld Seattle. We did an NPC of Pooja's character's mom, and moms are great. I love moms and exes and all that. Those are awesome characters to play. So bring it on. Let's do it.
Does he have mommy issues?
You said he and mommy issues. I'm going to say yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'm throwing it in here.
Yeah.
This pilot, it's coming together. I'm so stoked.
All right.
Oh, mother.
Sorry, I got
Mother.
dancing
Yep.
in my head.
Nope, it went straight to my head too after I said it.
Oh, I'm really glad you got that reference too, because I would been like, oh, somebody posted.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, someone posted on Twitter that she was working, and one of the teenage workers at her place asked her if she'd ever seen a PS2 in real life, and she's like, I'm going to go walk into the sea now.
Bye forever.
Bye forever. Anyway, wow,
your bond could be anything. A sibling in X AO3. Stop it. Sorry.
No, I was saying that one of my students, she was listening, they were doing quiet work, and I let them listen to music when they're doing quiet work. And she was I go, oh, what are you listening to? And she goes, Glenn Danzig. And I go, again? Say that again? I go, you're listening to Danzig? She goes, yeah, I love him. I'm like, you're now my favorite student,
All right. So how is everybody on their bonds? Are we ready to move forward?
Yes.
Can a pet be a bond?
Oh.
I'm going to say no, and here's why.
Oh.
Well, here's why. You can have a pet, and they can be important to you, but that might run afoul of sometimes the relationship between the bonds can get really heated or serious, and we don't necessarily want to do that with a pet. So you can have a pet, and I might even go, hey, the pet gives you back some sanity, but I'd say let's not make that a bond, so that there's, does that make sense? So that it's not, because you strain bonds. Bonds are something that you put tension on and you put pressure on, and you don't necessarily want to do that to your favorite doggo, or whatever. Does that make sense?
He was actually a tortoise named Bob.
A tortoise named Bob too. They don't need that kind of stress. So yeah, that's what I'll say for that. All right. No, Jenkins does not count. Jenkins chat.
Oh, Jenkins.
Oh, Jenkins. Jenkins could talk and was eating human flesh. So that's a different kind of thing. All right. So step 5 is finishing details. This is stuff that you do not need to worry about right this second, but you do need to let me know on Discord so that I can make the what your name is, what pronouns are. Remind me of actually, if you can just send me when you're ready, send me your complete character sheet so I can just have it on hand while I'm running. So let's kind of skip the finishing details, because those are things that you can figure out, like I said, as we go along. And let's go to what brought you into Delta Green, because that's going to shape your character a little. What put you on the radar of a super secret black ops kind of agency who fights paranormal beings and all of that? What experience? Now, if you look on your sheet, there is extreme violence, imprisonment, hard experience, and things man was not meant to know. Jesus, Wes, come on, read. They each give bonuses in certain places and, some negatives in others. But you can kind of pick what brought you into the fold. And then we'll start talking. Or let me ask you this. Should we start talking about, where we're going to be starting out, placement, and all of that? Would that kind of help you make those decisions?
Wait, sorry. I was reading and did not hear your last sentence. I am so sorry. My brain kind of split in half.
It's okay. It's all right.
I was trying to figure out, I was like, well, which of these would appropriately fit how she would have been called?
Basically, my last sentence is, do we want to talk about setting before we get into how you were brought into Delta Green?
I think that is something that I would like to DM back and forth about personally.
Okay.
That's it would be easier for me to be like, hey, does this seem like it would be fun to play? Yeah.
You mean the setting or how you became part of Delta Green?
How she became part of Delta
Okay,
Green.
I was going to say, okay, cool.
Sorry.
Setting wise, just so you all know, basically there is a military installation that is in Alaska that has literally just disappeared. It's gone. And they are going to be sending you all up there as Delta Green to check out how. It's not on any maps. It's not on any, it's gone. No radar, no nothing. We could, if you wanted to, role play through your experience, or, we don't have to make rolls or anything, but if you wanted to, like, instead of saying, well, this happened, we could role play through what your experience is. We would just have to talk about it during the week. And then at the beginning of the first episode, we could go into that. But yeah, basically you all are going to be looking into this weird disappearance of a military base. That's the setup. What do y'all think? Thoughts? Comments?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. You said
Amazing.
Alaska? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So does anybody have an idea about how they got brought into Delta Green that they're willing to share right now with our chat, or do you all want to wait?
I'm willing to share.
Okay, go for it, Candace.
So I think my character comes from a hard experience. Her parents died when she was young. She was like 15 in a fire, and they had a hard time getting over it. They like their father was friends with someone who was involved in the project, who kind of took them under their wing, and now she became a foreign service officer to try and kind of get away from those kind of old ghosts and like remake herself, but she still kind of is drawn to this kind of safe space, like even though it's creepy and it's weird and it's like more than she bargained for a lot of the time, because she has this mentor, which is going to be one of my bonds, because she has this mentor and because she feels like it's something that her deceased parents would have wanted her to do, they like continue pressing and pushing forward and trying to stay in even when perhaps it might seem they should get out.
Did they get approached by Delta Green, or did they find Delta Green themselves?
I feel like they were approached by Delta. Well, a little bit of both, because the person that ended up raising her when she was orphaned was part of it. So I imagine like stumbling upon schematics or classified documents or something at home is what kind of opened that door. Like I went into, foreign service to see the world and to better understand things around me, but I'm constantly kind of drawn to like the spookier side of things, like the weirder and more craven sides of things, because of my knowledge of even though I'm very reserved about it, I'm not going to be like a crazy conspiracy theorist. Like everything has its place for my character.
Right.
But I still understand that perhaps not everything is what I think it is.
Absolutely. That makes sense. Okay, cool. And you said that you were going to, you and Michelle's character will know each other. How do you think the two of you met? Was it a forum?
It could be.
It could be. That would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense.
Flat
Definitely
Earth.
arguing in the comments on this fucking forum.
Message boards.
There's the word.
Right.
Yeah, my handle is like skeptic89 or something.
And you're like a total troll to them. You're like, that's not fucking real.
Yeah. I admire your thesis, but no, definitely not.
Listen,
Mine
Ansel
is the
Adams.
truth is out there 5682.
Just
Love
GPS
it.
coordinates.
Oh my god.
All right,
Please
cool. So that's your connections to one another. Chrissy, I know you're rebuilding a character. Tell us So you're going to take a little time and figure out how you were brought into Delta Green.
Yeah, I think the one I'm gonna go with is things man was not meant to know.
That's
It's
always
just
that's always a good one.
I was
Yeah.
also thinking about using that one.
Yeah, that's the one I'm
Pretty
using
classic.
too.
So, I guess I was looking at how to incorporate the last part on what to do there, but that I can DM you about, and
Yeah,
then
that's
trying
fine.
to figure out better details about exactly what happened. I haven't quite figured out what I want.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you'll notice under each one of these things, you'll have to make some adjustments to your character once you pick whatever your background is. You get a +10 to unnatural, and then a +20 to occult for the things that man was not meant to know. And you have to reduce your sand by power. Okay, so if you have a 10 in your power, not the percentage point, but the actual before you times it by 5, you take that amount off of your resolve. Okay, that's how that works. And then don't worry about the breaking point because we're not using that.
Yeah. How did you want to incorporate the gain, the
Gain
lost
indefinite
sanity caused by the unnatural permanently?
All it means is that your power is, or your resolve is reduced by 10.
Okay.
It's the same mechanic. It's just different names basically. So if you have 10% in unnatural, it means that your max resolve or power has to come down to. Okay.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Oh. Wait. The resolve has to come down by 10 or by your power?
I think by both, actually, because it says reduce sand by power, so it'd be reduce resolve by power. So whatever your number is.
So for me, it would be -23, basically.
No,
That
that's
seems
your
like a lot.
That's why I'm-
percentage. That's your percentage point, right? 20.
Well,
you
you
have a-
said minus
even
10%.
10%, and then your power. If her
Yeah.
power's 13.
Oh, I see. Yes, I believe that's what it's saying, because it says reduce your sand by your power, reduce your resolve by your power, and then plus 10%, which would lower your because it says on the very bottom, gain an indefinite insanity caused by unnatural. You know what? Let me think about it and let me look at it, because I might have to tweak it a little bit for the three of you, and we'll figure it out on Discord for that particular thing.
Well, I mean, I can do hard experience instead of
You don't have
things
to.
man was not meant to know.
No, you can stick with whatever. You can all have weird experiences. There's enough out there for everyone. So tell us more about your character, Janine. So are you an actual ace pilot, or are you maybe not?
I think that I will have been officially honorably discharged from my post in the Air Force after seeing the thing that man was not meant to know. And it kind of, on multiple levels, I am stuck in the pre-discharge version of myself.
You can't move on.
I cannot move on. I'm that guy who still pops his collar type shit.
You've got 6 polo
Junk in the
shirts
past.
on, and it's just one
Yes.
big pop.
Exactly. Yeah, whatever the experience was, which I have an idea for that too. But
Yeah, that's fine. If you all can come up with your experience, and we can kind of talk about it, as you think something up, that's fine. That actually works better, because then we can do little flashbacks and stuff and reveal it during the game as we go along.
Candace?
So I was mathing while you guys were just having this conversation. I feel terrible.
No.
When it says -5 to something, that means from the score, not the multiplier.
I believe so, yes.
Damn.
What a bummer.
L's all around.
Yeah, it
Gosh.
usually means backward. It's the
multiplier?
It's the multiplier. Yeah, it's not the base. So
Okay.
you don't go from 17 to 12.
great.
Right. That would be
Because that would
be
suck.
Yeah, that'd be nuts.
That was deeply traumatic for me just now. I had a small heart attack. I will recover.
It is a
think that-
horror game.
I mean, we've been doing pretty good. I think we should remind chat, though, that, and we've said it since day one of 12-Sided Stories, we are a story-heavy, rules-light game. So if we miss something or fuck something up, we really don't. We're more worried about the story being good as opposed to remembering every little rule. So if we fuck something up, just, let it slide. It's
roll
all
with
good.
it.
Just roll with it. It's all good. So I honestly, I think that's it. So we should talk about why this is so easy. Like I've said, they make it easy because you're probably not going to make it very long. New agents come and go. Hopefully, how long you survive can be, it's like old time, like Dig Dug or whatever the fuck. How long can you last before you get hit? And that's part of the fun. We're playing a game for our coffee and Patreon backers, which is Delta Green. And in that one, Michelle's character, was on the edge of death so many times, hit by bullets and explosions, and the fact that
she was supposed to be the tank, and she kept getting
she was
down to 1 hit point.
like I said, Russian tank. So you gotta figure that these things are gonna happen. If you hit 0, there's no death save. You're just dead. Some things, if there's an explosion, you could insta die. So yeah. We're going to have a lot of fun with this, and it's going to be a good time. But it is definitely a little bit more murdery. Does anyone have any questions? Any comments? Anything you want to talk about?
How do you want us to choose gear?
I think with gear, for the most part, I'm not going to be, as long as it makes sense. If you have a sidearm or whatever. And when you go out for a particular mission, they're going to provide what you feel like you're going to need. So, and if you don't have it on your character sheet, I'm not going to be I
will absolutely be requesting a rocket launcher at some point. I'm not joking. So think about that.
I will think about it. But more than likely what it will be is, hey, we'd like X, Y, and Z. And it might be a role-playing situation where you have to possibly divert funds from one part of the government to another to be able to make that happen. That is something that happens in Delta Green a lot, where you have to
$700 for a hammer.
Exactly. You have to buy a $700 hammer. Sure. There's $30 chicken right now, so why not a $7? Anyway, I think that pretty much covers it. Yeah. Real quick, let's, as my voice cracks, let's talk about some of the core rules. This is a percentage game. You're going to be rolling D100s. It's pretty straightforward. All of the rules on the cheat sheet on page 1 are things that we use. The fact they're able to fit most of the pertinent rules on one page is something that I love. So you might get a bonus in a particular or a negative in a particular roll. That's either going to be a plus 20 or plus 40 or minus 20 or minus 40, depending on the situation. Critical successes are a +1 or doubles underneath your particular skill. So if you get a 33, 22, 11, those are all critical successes. A failure is double zeros, so 100 or 99, 88, 77. The one thing that Delta Green doesn't have that I love from Call of Cthulhu is the push mechanic, which is, oh, let me re-roll this, and if you re-roll it, something terrible happens if you don't make it, but we're not going to be using those this time. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think this 0 session's over. I think we're done. I know it goes fast. Like I said, it's not a D&D character. It's not a I mean, if you want a 4-hour zero session, we could make champion characters. We don't want to do that.
But yeah, when you're building big softies.
Shadow big softies. The best thing I've ever read is from GURPS Call of Cthulhu, where they're like, you can build a 100-point character or 500-point character. They all taste the same, because, Cthulhu likes them all. So
what year is this taking place in?
Modern day. So right now, right this second. And also figure out pertinent things like, obviously where your characters are from, if you're going to be doing an accent, all of that stuff. What else? So for chat, so you all know, obviously we have the same crew. I was able to get them all to come back because we had such a fun time with them from The Blood We Spilled. So I wanted to see if I could get them all on board. We have a list of games that we would like to play. We're going to be trying to get to Cyberpunk, and we're going to be trying to do probably a game that I've been writing called Pride's Reach, which is like a Saturday morning cartoon thing. And then we're going to also hopefully get to another Call of Cthulhu thing. So there's like a list of things we'd like to get to over time. There will be some weekends depending on scheduling, or weeks depending on scheduling, where we might miss a week, which is a normal thing for streaming, or a player might have to miss. We've done that before as well. But we really appreciate that you all came by and watched us make these characters, and you can watch them grow and change and see if who's the last person standing.
Change.
Experience life because it's short and bleak. So yeah, we've got a lot of great things coming up, and let's that's my Dropbox saying I just got something. Let's go around and see where all of these wonderful people are. This is so short that we're not even going to take our break. We're going to, you know what? It's done when it's done. So let's start with Michelle. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Michulu, Michulhu. You can find my music and Wes's amazing sound effects if you subscribe to the Plate Mail Games let's try that again. To the Plate Mail Games catalog through Battle Bards.
That is their website. It's very hard to spell out. Bedmass.
Bedmass.
Bedmass. That's a B thing. Janine.
Hello, I'm Janine. You can find me on Twitter at Blips and Chits, and you can find all of my shows and information there. My schedule changes a lot lately for whatever reason, but this Thursday I will be starting a Outbreak Undead show over on, it's going to come to me right now, Q Times. Haha! Over on Q Times this Thursday and for the next few Thursdays at 6 p.m. Also starting a Starfinder campaign somewhere. Don't know where it's going to be. As you can see, I have not updated my schedule for the next few months. Once I do, it will take me another month to remember exactly where I'm supposed to be and when. But for all of that information, just follow me on Twitter, Blips and Chits.
Awesome. And Candace.
Hi. You can find me at that Candace Girl on Twitter, at Candace Magnificent, pretty much everywhere else. I will be streaming all month long, probably some spoopy stuff, from, Monster Prom to things that are actually scary. Maybe because I'm a big chicken. You can find me in a variety of places. I would just probably look at my Twitter because I'm doing a lot of stuff. You can find me this month on Transplanar at the end of the month. You can find me on the 16th over at That D'Angela's channel. Every Thursday, you can find me at K Damn Fierce channel doing Godplane, which is a horror 5e campaign. That's a homebrew. Highly recommended. I'm on there with shout out to Matihi, Herb, Bohemian, and Carrie Smith, as well as Full Rubber Ducky. We're having a really great time. And you can usually find me on Carrie Smith's channel too, doing stuff. I'm not sure when any of it's coming out because she likes to pre-record, but take a look. But yeah, ultimately just look at my, I think I might have a TTRPG show on my own channel at some point this month, probably, maybe. So just look on Twitter.
Awesome. Yeah, that it's if I didn't pre-record the podcast and do all that editing, I'd probably pre-record the stream, but I can only do one. So
Too much editing.
Too much editing. There's only my OCD can only get me so far. Chrissy, where are you at?
You can find me as Chrissy in Color on most places in the internet, with the exception of Instagram, where you have to add a "the" in there. And right now, the only thing that I know when it's coming out with any regularity besides our Monday games is the Aether Log, which is the podcast. I don't know why anybody wanted my voice on a podcast, but the podcast that a D&D podcast that I am playing with Sam Comerford, Dungeon Glitch Matt, Titanomaki Lex, and our our friend from the Cast Eye podcast, Mark. That releases every Tuesday afternoon. And then I've got a bunch of stuff I'm recording, a lot of it with Carrie Smith, actually. And like Candace says, we have no idea when it's actually coming out. There's some that may not even, yes, inevitably, may not even be out till next year, which is great. We have plenty of time to pre-record. But the best way to keep up with me is through my Twitter. That's where you can figure out what I'm on when, because that's usually I usually know day of, oh, this is coming out today, okay. Yeah. I think I've got a 10 Candles live stream. I think it's live. Is it live? I don't know.
Me too.
I love that. Yay for scary season. And then also on Twitch, I'm going to be doing my own, I think I might play some Phasmophobia with some friends this month if I can round them up, as well as some Dead by Daylight, do some scary stuff.
That's too scary for me.
I'm here for Dead by Daylight streams. I will be in your chat.
You want to play with me?
I've never played before. I love to watch that.
Yeah, I'll watch, but I will not play. Too scary.
Awesome.
I like to flirt with the monsters. There is a dating sim for that.
It
I have
hooked
been
on you?
playing it. Yes.
Not shocking at
My
all.
partner has been playing. I have a game that I'm not finished with, and I think Spirit's into me.
Oh,
Spirit.
yeah. If
Can we just walk in the room and say, I think you're wrong. Get out.
That's funny. So, I'm Wes Otis. You can find me at Playmelt Games on Twitter. You can find all of our links down below. You can find us on, Twitter at 12 Sided Stories, the number 12, and then Sided Stories, or on our website, which I actually just updated. It took me literally 2 days because goddamn. And that's 12sidedstories.allwrittenOut.com. If you want to support the channel, go over to Coffee and give us either a one-time donation or become a monthly subscriber and get some awesome extra content. Our podcast comes out every Friday, and then we're doing this every Monday. The podcast right now, we're about to do Fear Itself, which is a Gumshoe game, starts coming out this week, and then we're going to be doing Vampire the Masquerade after that, and then after that is going to be Blades of Eversink, which is another Gumshoe game, which Candace is going to be a part of, and yeah, we've got a lot of shit coming up. There's just, I'm constantly editing stuff, and so go over to 12 Sided Stories and definitely check it all out. We've got amazing casts and just some great things and a huge back catalog of things for you to listen to. So go check that. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. And we will start next week and see how scary we can make this scary show.
So scary.
So scary. Very scary. So many things. Yeah. The Fear Itself game, the end of it is they made some tough choices. I'm not going to say what, but they made some tough choices that, I think will haunt them. So we will see you all. We will see you all next week, and with the full episode 1. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.